All right. Welcome to today's community conversation. We've got, this talk is on the Autodesk Document Management Solution. We've got Brenda Collin and David Smolker that'll be running this. And it's going to be a good one. Let's go to the next slide, please, Brenda. Yeah, just a quick overview. Community conversations are virtual meetups featuring expert speakers from across the community. Sessions range from deep dives, tips and tricks, and live demos, products and technologies, to roundtables and industry talks. Anybody and all experience levels are welcome to join. And we also welcome anybody in the community that wants to run one of these. If they have some domain expertise, they want to assemble an industry talk or panel. We're looking at doing some like solution ones, like allowing people to throw like, how would you do this? How would you work with Civil 3D and Revit, and get a panel that could, pound out like, this is how you do it. It'll be kind of a fight club for solutions. It'd be kind of fun. Next one, please. It's always a fun one. This is from our lawyers. This is the safe harbor agreement. That's our statement. It just means that any purchasing decisions made, that you make them with the products as they are shipping today. So if David talks about how the Autodesk Cloud's going to reside in a beautiful glowing orb on your desk in the future, that might be cool and it might happen, but we can't promise it. So anyway, next please. Just some ground rules here. Lines are muted to reduce the background noise, although we invite you to turn on your camera if you feel comfortable with that, to give kind of an in-person feeling. This is a conversation, so let's keep it at that. Raise your hands and we'll call on you to unmute, or you can type your question in the chat and we will answer those as we can throughout the talk. The session is recorded and being recorded, and we'll post it on the event page that you registered here, as well as on YouTube, 24 to 48 hours, hopefully today. It all depends on a whole bunch of different things, and but it'll be there. Next, please. All right. I'm Sean Hurley, Autodesk Community Engagement Manager. I am a geeky technologist located in sunny, snowy, cold Bend, Oregon. David.
Yeah, and I'm David Smolker. I'm in sunny Sebastopol, California, product marketer. Been with Autodesk for 3 years, just starting to get to know the community. So happy this is my first community conversation, so happy to be here. If you maybe you can give me some notes afterwards, see how it goes. On to you, Brenda.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brenda. I'm a technical specialist. Basically, this means that I have experience in the software, but also I have experience on the industry. My background is as an architect, and also I work as a PM, different roles. And now I'm happy to be here to go through these community conversations, keep it a candid conversation on Autodesk Docs.
Should we take it away from here, Sean?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So let me start first with talking about intent. So our intent here, Brenda and I ran a webinar October 9th, about a month ago, and it was on Autodesk Docs, and it was talking about docs in the collection, and we were just overrun with questions. So we thought, hey, maybe we could get a note out there to the folks who attended the webinar and to others, and just say, hey, we didn't get to all your questions. We'd love to get to some of them now. Come to our office hours. As I see who's showing up here, I see Matt, I see Robin. Some of you are definitely power users. So some of the questions that we have prepared are probably pretty basic. So what we want to do is, if you have questions about Autodesk Docs, about the cloud solutions, go ahead and put those in the chat or raise your hand and we'll get to them, because we don't want to cover things that are too basic. But we want to provide something for everyone. So that's sort of maybe the caveat in the setup here. We really want to be adaptive to what you all want to know. So please fire away with questions, or let us know if you've got one and you want to come off mute and present it. But so agenda, we're going to do a quick overview of BIM 360 and the Construction Cloud. Then we're going to get into what's next, and we're going to highlight some of these data exchange workflows, parameter service, new things, new services in the cloud that we're offering through Autodesk Docs. And I've got a couple demo videos I could share if you're interested in looking more at that. And I'm talking specifically Rhino Revit connection, data exchange there, Power Automate. So things that have been released in the last year that are pretty interesting. And then we're going to get to Autodesk Docs top 5 FAQs, and Brenda's going to run us through those. And then we'll share some resources for those of you that have been working with Autodesk and Docs for a while. These might be known to you already, but for those of you who are new, welcome, and we can point you in the right direction. With that, I believe our next step is to pass this over to Brenda to get us into some of what we covered in the webinar.
Yeah, so I will go really quick over this, but like David was mentioning on our past webinar, we show in a demo how you could use Autodesk Docs to save the files that we usually work with in our design process, or the favorite tools that we use. So we use, in this case, AutoCAD, Civil 3D, Revit, InfraWorks, Navisworks, and we show workflows on how we were able to save these documents in Autodesk Docs. Once they were in this document management solution, then we start demonstrating how we are able to do markups and how we can review our design really easily on an internet browser, on a mobile app. So the key takeaways from this webinar was showing and communicating that Autodesk Docs is part of this AC collection, this product, this bundle, and that it is a great document management solution for Autodesk files. So this was, like David was saying, we received so many questions, and I guess there's a lot of interest on this document management solution that, like I said, is made for our industry. So this was the overview, and we show again how you can work with each one of these file formats and save them in here. And also, I want to do a recap on, what are the changes that we did on the past 2 years. And I know there are tons of questions on what is BIM 360, what is the Autodesk Construction Cloud, what is happening with BIM 360. So I just want to let you know that all of our offerings give you access to these 2 clouds. So I see this like streaming services. It's like you want to watch a movie, it's Netflix or it's Amazon Prime. You need to decide, right? So this is almost the same. It's like you need to host a project, but then you need to decide if you want to host that project in BIM 360 or the Autodesk Construction Cloud. I put you a picture on the interface, the user interface of BIM 360 and the Autodesk Construction Cloud. And as you can see, it changed at the top, the banner. One is a lighter banner, darker banner. The icons on how you go to the functionalities change. But the main part is that we are able to access the projects that we have hosted on the Autodesk Construction Cloud or in BIM 360 through the projects browser. So it's just, like I said, different clouds. BIM 360 is a cloud that has been in development for the past years, and Autodesk Construction Cloud is a result of, it's called code refactoring. This means basically bring the best of the code of the past acquisitions that we did from PlanGrid, Pipe, Assemble, Building Connected, and put them in this amazing product that is the Autodesk Construction Cloud. So again, in your offerings, you have access to these 2 clouds. So we make it easier for you. So with that, I pass it over to David to go through the what's next on Autodesk Docs.
Yeah, so thank you, Brenda. So I think many of you are probably aware of the cloud as it pertains to document management. What's new and what's next is services provided through the cloud. And so there are a couple I want to highlight here because they've released in the last year, and they were highlighted at AU as well for those of you who were able to attend or have watched any of the streaming videos that are available from that event. So the first one I want to talk about is parameter service. So new with Revit 2023 is a cloud-based parameter service that basically allows you to work with parameters in Autodesk Docs. So rather than keeping these text files, right? I know a lot of you have been managers, you've got libraries of text files, right? And those are your parameters for projects and for your firm, and that's how you keep sort of standardization across the portfolio that your firm is working on. Now we're going to let you manage that in the cloud with parameter service. It's a tech preview right now, so we're gathering feedback on it, how it works. But if you're responsible for ensuring your firm's standards are deployed and kept up to date across an array of projects, this is a service that you should know about and you should try out. So you can add parameters to the service by uploading an existing shared parameters file. You can upload from an active Revit file, or you can create them manually through the interface. Look for, I've got a couple resources I can put into the chat if you want to learn more about this. Curious if anyone is using this at the moment. Maybe just let us know in the chat if you've tried out parameter service. Yeah, so want to talk about that a little bit. That's a good point. It does not work on EU server. That's a very good point. It is only in the US. Thank you for that clarification. Yeah, so let me see if I can dig up news of when it might be on EU server, because I know it's an offering we're excited about. I know there's news coming about it soon. Hint, hint. I want to make sure that y'all are aware of what's going on here. The other things I want to talk about, so data exchanges. If I could get the slide, please, Brenda. Sorry, that was a fast twitch. So data exchange, and this was highlighted at the main stage of AU. And with Revit 2023, we released a data exchange workflow for Microsoft Power Automate. We also released one for Inventor, and then in September we released a data exchange workflow for Rhino, the Rhino connector that now allows you to take that complex geometry that you're forming in Rhino and port it into Revit via a cloud connection via Autodesk Docs. So increasingly, the trend here is Autodesk Docs. It's not just about document management. It's also about providing services, and providing services especially that connect to your Revit workflows. So I think you're going to see more of this in the months, years to come. And that team I know is looking for feedback. If you are considering maybe joining the beta, there's a beta for the Microsoft Power Automate connector, and also for the Rhino connector. I can put the links in there into the chat for that. But the team is collecting feedback. They also want to know, hey, what kind of connections, what kind of data exchange connections would be useful to you right now and on into the future for the work that you're doing. So with that, I also mentioned I've got a couple of video demos if we want to get to those, but first we want to get to your questions. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to talk about some of the top questions.
Yeah, so I have one in the chat that Michael sent that I'm sure I will respond this on these top 5. So I'll try to respond them on these questions that I have in here, Michael. The first one that I talked, what is the difference between Autodesk Docs and BIM 360 document management? It's similar functionalities like I show you. What is really important to mention is that these two products have separate roadmaps. This means that, Autodesk Docs have some functionalities in the roadmap, BIM 360 has different ones. And all of the users that have access to BIM 360, they have access right now to Autodesk Docs. So my suggestion for all of you is give it a try. Give it a try to Autodesk Docs, or if you're a BIM 360 subscriber. If you are not any of them, give it a try to both of them. You have access to these two solutions. What is happening with BIM 360? Are we retiring this from the market? Okay, so there are no plans to retire BIM 360 from the market, and Autodesk will continue to provide support to BIM 360. My suggestion is go and try the Autodesk Construction Cloud. Like I said, you have already access if you have access to Autodesk Docs, and see what are the functionalities that are critical for your workflow. Right now, the Autodesk Construction Cloud, like I said, has the best of the acquisitions that we did, but also we are working on the parity of functionalities with BIM 360. Saying this, I know that Michael said, like, what are the metrics, checkpoints to migrate from BIM 360 to ACC? So in this case, again, my suggestion is go and try the Autodesk Construction Cloud and see if these critical functionalities are in there. I'll tell you, like a user, what are the top 5 functionalities that we are still working that are not available in the Autodesk Construction Cloud, but are available in BIM 360. First one, we don't have issues and markups on the mobile app in ACC. So ACC has a mobile app, but it only has like visualizing of your model. What other one? Yeah, if you have a 3D model on the internet browser, also in the ACC, there are no markups available in the 3D view yet. Again, we're getting to the parity of functionalities. Another one that I've seen as a user, BIM 360 doesn't have the bridge functionality that Autodesk Docs has. What is this? Basically replicating information from one project to another project. So if I am in my project working with a company, we are 2 companies, and I want to share information from one project to the other company project, Bridge helps us to replicate that information in different projects. So that is only available in the Autodesk Construction Cloud. So there are some functionalities that, again, are available in BIM 360, some others that are in the Autodesk Construction Cloud. That's why I recommend you to go and test. You have access to these 2 clouds. Let me see, I have some questions in here. Oh, no. Then the other one, we received what file formats are supported on Autodesk Docs. So we support more than 80 file formats. And some of these formats are viewable on the internet browser. This could be your Revit file, Civil 3D, Format, Navisworks, that we are able to visualize these files directly on the internet browser. And there are some others that we cannot visualize in the internet browser, but yes, we are able to save them in here. Remember that Autodesk Docs is a document management solution. So it's not only for Autodesk type of files, but also for your project documentation. The next one, those Autodesk Docs log files that are in use or open in programs such as AutoCAD. Yes, for AutoCAD files specifically, it logs the file once the user opens the AutoCAD file. Because in AutoCAD, we are only able to have one user at a time. And in this case, when I open the file, it automatically gets locked. So not other user can make changes to that same file, but the XREFs are not locked. So that means that I can have one person doing the interior, one person doing the shell in the same AutoCAD file, but each one of them on their own file, but connected through the XREFs. Then we have, does everyone need a license to access Autodesk Docs? Yes, and we did this because of accountability and liability. Why? Because if you provide access to your information to multiple users, you need to know exactly what is this user and what information they are downloading. So yes, it is important for everyone to have a license if you want them to visualize this information. But if you just want to share information for another person to download, there is a functionality that is called a public link. So this works the same as, in Dropbox, that you select share a link. It works the same. So you can share a link and that person is able to download a file, any type of file that you have hosted in here, and have a copy of that downloaded. It can be a dynamic link. This means that it will share with them the latest version. Even if you, like week 1, I shared this link and I made some changes. If that person has that link and it opens after a week, that person will download that file with all the changes that you did during the week. Or you're able to select like, no, I just want to share this file from the version that I'm sharing today. So you have those 2 options. You're also able to define when that link should expire, so that person cannot download your information from here. So those are like the most common questions that we receive on the webinar. But again, like David was saying, I know we have some advanced users in here. So please feel free to put your questions on the chat and we can answer them. But these were the top 5 that we received on the webinar. I think I saw some of them like 3 times. And we received like 500 questions. I remember in that webinar, 300, I believe. So yeah, any other questions that you have? Okay, I see one from Ruben. Those bridge will support eventually Revit models linking from one project to another. Yeah, so right now, as you may know, the Revit models that are linked between each other, when you use bridge, the linking gets broke. We are aware of this. I will say that development team is aware of this, but we do not have like a date on when this will be fixed. But if you ask me, yeah, eventually it will be available. I cannot give you a date, but the development team is aware of this problem.
Other questions?
Mm-hmm.
We plowed through the easy one. Something tells me, Brenda, that a lot of these folks probably already knew the answers to these questions. So, well, it's a learning for us. Anything on data exchanges or services? I do want to say, look out for news on parameter service. I already said that, but it's coming soon.
Because we had experts on the call.
I know, I think we got too many experts.
Enable the user activity. Also, we'll be able to user activity on ACC. We have another question from Ruben. Will be available the user activity on ACC just like on BIM 360? If you are referring to, when you were able to see who visualized a file, who opened the file, and yeah, basically this activity, it is available in ACC. The only thing is that it's in another section, and it's called View File Activities. So if you go to the file, you have you have in Autodesk Docs, you have the file, and then you have the 3 dots that give you more information. In ACC, that's where you will find View File Activities. But View File Activities is at a file level, not like in BIM 360 that it was like folder level. So, but yeah, it's available on ACC. Okay.
Now the questions are coming.
Here they come.
Yeah. Thank you for your questions. I see Larry. There was bridge fully synced docs folder between ACC sites on different Autodesk accounts. Yes. So even if you, I don't know, I have my account that is TS Construction, and then I want to share with another company that I was doing another test with a customer. That customer has their own account. We were using bridge. But yeah, even if that project is in a different account, yes, you're able to bridge those two folders. Let's see, Michael. Any useful graphics to explain to users which element, tasks, workflows land in BIM 360 ACC docs to help them understand which parts they are interacting within various ways? Oh, okay, I see. Like maybe what functionalities, like if we were talking about model coordination, Michael, is that what you're referring? Would you like to unmute yourself maybe? We can do that, Deshaun?
I can unmute Michael if he wants to be unmuted.
Sure, I can do that.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, so in trying to explain to my users what workflows land in BIM 360, what a BIM 360 license gets them access to versus what parts of a project a user who only has docs can have access to. So like docs may be very useful for a PM who's not in the model, whereas the same user or one of their users needs to be in BIM 360 or ACC to work in Revit. Getting folks to understand, okay, when I do this in BIM 360, when I publish this in BIM 360, it shows up here in docs, and how those interoperate, interlock, what is the same piece of data showing up in different pieces and different license accessibilities, and like that, can you accidentally hook from BIM 360 to ACC via docs, like sort of accidentally? Like you shouldn't, but that's a different, like you can get projects that sort of interoperate that way. I've got a couple of like, old comparisons of like, here's if you've got ABC Pro versus ABC, here's what elements are included in that, here's what happens with a build license. But just diving into the workflows associated with, say, docs and how that hooks to ACC or BIM 360, one slide graphic of this is that would be really helpful.
Let me see. I used to have one slide on my documents that sign offering. But let me see. Just give me 1 second while I try to find this.
Yeah, and I think Liz is asking a somewhat similar question. So is there a table that compares, contrasts features of BIM 360 and ACC? Let's dig on those.
It's opening the file.
It'd be really helpful if there was one of those that Liz is asking for that is current. I have one that is from about 1.5 years ago, but I know there's been changes to both BIM 360 and ACC, both in terms of branding.
So this one goes like on the design offerings. I can go on and find one for the build and the other phases. But basically, this is what we did. I hope it can help to clarify like what are the offerings that are in each one of the products and what are the changes that we did. So as you can see, it gives you access to the two, my apologies for this one, but it gives you access to BIM 360 and the Autodesk Construction Cloud. These are the new names of the products, and these are the past names and the past modules, not past names, but how they are called in BIM 360. So in BIM 360, we call this BIM 360 Document Management Module, and in the Autodesk Construction Cloud is Autodesk Docs. So looking, let's see, this image is having problems. But as you can see, we give you access to the same modules and functionalities. So in Autodesk, like it was BIM 360 design, you had access to Docs, you had access to the design collaboration module and the administration module. When we give you access to the Autodesk Construction Cloud, it has the same names. BIM 360 is now Autodesk Docs, but we also added model coordination that then it was a separate product that was called BIM 360 Model Coordination. So this is what we did. Like, even the names are really similar, the functionalities are the same, and we put that on a bundle, to say in a way, that now it's BIM Collaborate Pro. Your other question was like, some moment, like someone make change in BIM 360 that reflects on ACC or get hooked on ACC, if I understood correctly. No, it doesn't work like that. When someone decides to work in BIM 360, all of the project is hosted in there, and it can use all the functionalities in there, but we cannot replicate that information in the Autodesk Construction Cloud. It's like two separate clouds. It's like if I'm working on Dropbox and OneDrive, it's almost the same, like if I decide where to host that information. So if I decide to host this in BIM 360 or host the information in the Autodesk Construction Cloud, all the information is saved on the document management solution. That is Autodesk Docs, BIM 360 document management. So I see these, if you have all your information hosted in here, in these two modules, and in this case, Michael, you said like, this is great for a project manager, Autodesk Docs, because they are able to see the models. But on top of that information that is hosted in there, we added additional functionalities like design collaboration, Revit Cloud work sharing. So on top of that information, you are able to run additional workflows. Like if I have my Revit model hosted in there, my additional functionality in Pro is that I am able to have multiple users co-authoring that single Revit file. But also I am able to run a clash detection with that file that is hosted in Docs. If I am a Revit user and I have Pro, I have access to all these functionalities. But if I am just a PM, I just have access to visualize that document, doing markups, doing issues. So everything works on top of that document management solution, and then we add additional workflows. I hope that helps to clarify your question, Michael.
Not exactly, but sort of.
Okay.
So like just saying admin modules for assigning, like for my level of assigning licenses and knowing what users can do, that's great. But in terms of giving users understanding of what's included in those modules and what tasks are a little more granular that they can get broken out, a chart like this that is more in depth of like, here's what's included in admin modules, here's what's included in insights, that can be a little more easy. Even just looking at this, like this is fine for like an initial sales thing, but for training users on here's what pieces you get, this isn't quite accessible enough. And I've not, like, there's an older version of that from a year or two ago that I had that actually got some of the, like, I'm going to say less in branding speak and more in the, like, you can use Revit, you can use this. That was really great, but it's, a year or two out of date now. So everything's been rebranded and shuffled, and the things have been improved or changed.
I will suggest you to take, we will share this on the resources, but these ones go to each one of the functionalities. And if you go in here, you have like explanation on each one of the functionalities in each of the modules. So this is administration. If we're talking about issues, how to create an issue watchers, how to create a report. And this is just the functionalities available in Docs. So let's go one by one. This helps?
Something like that, but a much more visual, high-level accessibility to, not necessarily high level, but what users each get in a similar graphic, so that you can be like A to B, here's why we put these users on this, here's why we put these users on that, and be able to list like, hey, as a PM, here are all the things you can do. Here's what you need to lean on your users for.
Okay, I think Matt, are you there? I think Matt has a graphic that can help us. Because yeah, these are the two that I have.
Yeah.
Matt,
Yeah,
are
I'm
you
here.
there?
If you stop sharing, I can share my screen real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, anytime. Let's see. All right, so I have this. Is this kind of sort of what you're looking for?
Exactly.
Right. So as we
I have an earlier version of that.
right. So
That's
as
beautiful.
we go, so as we go through this, so the AEC collection comes with docs. You get docs. Here's some of the features that are included with it. Also included is insights. Moving along, BIM Collaborate / BIM Collaborate Pro is built on top of docs. Therefore, you get all of this as well. Similar with takeoff, build, tandem is its own special thing. So, yeah, I mean, I can absolutely share these out with, I send it to Sean so you can push it out to everyone. But yeah, if this helps you, be more than happy to share.
Yeah, just send it to me, Matt. I'd be happy. I'm sure that's going to help other people.
Yep, will do.
Yeah, we have those two, like the one that Matt shared and the one that I shared at the beginning that also helped Lisa. So good resources for you. Thank you, Matt.
My pleasure. Anytime.
We went through the questions. Oh, I have one from Larry. Is Autodesk considering enhancing folder subscriptions to allow users to be notified when markups are made on a file? I'm not aware of this one on the roadmap, but there is a way, like I will tell you like a workaround that I had one customer using, that he was creating a set of markups in the drawing, and then you're able to create an issue and saying, hey, could you please review all the markups that are in this drawing? So that's a great way to notify your team that there is like a bunch of markups or there is some requirements or changes that they need to make. That's a good workaround at this moment with the issues. And actually, to be honest, I prefer issues. I know markups. We are used to markups as in our industry, but take a chance to the issues. Try that one, because that functionality has a lot of intelligence on the back end that at the end you are able to review at, I don't know, at any moment of your project. What are the most common type of issues that you have? Maybe someone require you like 100 changes. That could be a potential change order. So that is a good workaround at this moment. Larry, I don't know if I haven't seen that on the roadmap, but that's like a good workaround to use the issues instead. So yeah, that was like in terms of that question from Larry. I hope that helped to answer your question, Larry.
Well, Brenda, we've moved through the queue of questions here. Any others? We've still got 15, 20 minutes before the top of the hour. Liz has one here. Is there currently or planned in the future a way to know who has a BIM 360 model open?
Model open on the internet browser or on the Revit interface? You know that one? Oh, Revit interface. Let's see. Just that I'm trying to remember, because we are able to see who is synchronizing, sort of like workshare monitor. That one is available too on your BIM 360 or your ACC. You know, that when you show in different filters who is working which part of the model, like the same functionality, it's available when you host your model in there. Matt, do you have maybe like something feedback about this one?
I can't think of anything. The only thing that kind of jumps to mind is the color coding of who has elements checked out, but I don't know that that necessarily solves the issue.
That show ownership? Yes, that shows the ownership, like the functionality that is mentioning. But that way you are able to know who has the model. Also, you know, the good thing of this solution is that only the people that you give access is the one that will open the model. And at the bottom, we also added a functionality so you know if someone is synchronizing the model, or if someone, or if the model is available to sync. But yeah, those are like the functionalities that we added. Oh, I'm looking to know if anyone has the model open for when I want to audit and compact the model. Another suggestion would be, and that we did in Revit 2023 for that list, is that you are able to open the last synchronized version and open an audit. So when you are in Revit 2023 in the Revit homepage, there is a way to open the latest version that was synchronized, but you have the option to say open and audit that model. So that way you're always using the latest version that was synchronized, but you're creating like opening the latest synchronized version. Let's see if I can show you where it is. So if that can help for that process. But here you have, like, this is my central model. You have the history of every single time a user synchronized, and then you're able to open and audit the last version that was synchronized. So this is instead of, you know, opening the central file, detach from central and all that, like automatically you have that option in here. Did that help you, Liz? It's on the homepage. So in the Revit homepage, you have access to that, or in the version history. You know, this can help with the looking to know if anyone has model open for the compact and audit of the model.
All right. David shared a nice knowledge base document too. So she's
2020.
the issue with back in 2020.
Yeah, it's not available in Revit 2020.
Any other questions? The last call. And thanks for all the questions we've gotten. It's been some good ones. And thanks for jumping in, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Matt.
All right, then let's go back to the deck if we could. Brenda, I have a couple closing slides. Let me share a couple links here to Autodesk community resources. There we go. Yeah, thank you for joining us. I just want to give a couple links here to different resources in the community. Next slide, please. You can explore the many ways to connect in the Autodesk community, including the global network of users, including the global the user groups, the Autodesk group network, industry-focused communities. We have forums, of course. We have the Twitter. We have the blogs. So we have Voices blog, which has 42 authors right now. There are a lot of AEC-related authors in there, and those are by the community for the community. Then we have our Teams blog as well, the journal. And then the community conversation. I gave you a link to go back and see what else we have coming up that might be of interest to you. We do, if you're into Dynamo, we do have the very popular Dynamo office hours in about an hour. And that is, today they're going to be doing generative design from scratch. So going all the way back to the basics without a graph. And so if you're into automating your Revit workflows or doing generative design, this would be a good one for it. So Facebook groups, a lot of resources, get involved, get active. Appreciate everybody who attended today. Thank you, David. Thank you, Brenda. Again, thanks, Matt. You're always a pinch hitter. Just come on in.
Matt's always ready.
Yeah. Oh, he is.
That's why I'm here.
All right. Well, thank you very much. As you exit, there's a quick pain-free little survey. Kind of gives us ideas of what you'd like to see in the future of community conversations. So appreciate it, everybody. See you later. And this is the recording. So if you want to share it with other people, this will be posted later today. I'll also put in the event page any resources. So the images from Matt and Brenda and some of the links, I'll throw those into the event page. See you later. Have a great Thursday, everybody.
Thanks, Sean.
Get some sleep, people in EMEA.
Like in the meeting or leave the meeting?